Your brand shows up in ChatGPT. Great. You don't get the click. That's the trap most AI search strategies are walking straight into right now. And if you're tracking mentions as your core metric, you're measuring something that feels like progress, while your competitors quietly take the traffic. Here's the distinction that changes everything. A mention is when an AI engine names your brand in a response. A citation is when it links a specific URL as the source of a claim. Those two things require completely different strategies, drive completely different outcomes, and right now, most brands are only optimizing for the first one. Why does that matter to you specifically? Because when Perplexity mentions your brand but cites a G2 review page as the source, G2 gets the traffic. You get the warm feeling of visibility. And when someone asks ChatGPT how your product compares to alternatives, which is a decision stage query, someone 80% of the way to buying. If the cited URL is your competitor's us versus them comparison page, your competitor is writing your AI brand narrative. You're not even in the room. This is what I call the owned citation share problem. Of all the URLs being cited when AI answers branded prompts about your company, what percentage are from your own domain versus third-party sources? If that number is low, you don't control how AI talks about you, even when AI is talking about you constantly. Now here's where the assumption breaks down further. You might think, fine, I'll just track whether my brand appears. But a single aggregate visibility score is almost meaningless. Same intent, completely different recommendations. Ask an AI to recommend headphones for a commuting professional, and you get Sony, Bose, Sennheiser. Ask for headphones for a competitive gamer who streams on Twitch, and you get SteelSeries, HyperX. Same product category, entirely different brand set, which means a brand can be the top AI recommendation for one buyer persona and completely invisible for another. And if you're measuring overall mention rate, you'll never see the gap. This is the consequence of how AI engines actually retrieve content. ChatGPT doesn't just match your page against what a user typed. It generates its own internal sub-questions, called fanout queries, and matches retrieved pages against those. A cited URL had a 0.656 cosine similarity score against fanout queries, versus 0.484 for non-cited URLs. Your page isn't competing against the user's question. It's competing against questions ChatGPT wrote itself, which means your content strategy has to be built around specific buyer contexts and decision stage questions, not broad category keywords. And here's the structural reason most brands are losing that competition. A study of 1.4 million ChatGPT prompts found that 43.8% of all AI citations go to listicles and comparison-style content. So when a competitor publishes an honest, structured, us versus your brand comparison page with clear tables, specific trade-offs, clean URL slugs, AI reads that as the most credible answer to a comparison query. Not your homepage, not your features page, their page about you. The fix is not to write a puff piece about yourself. LLMs cross-reference against independent sources, and they distrust self-promotional content. The actual fix is to publish honest, structured comparison pages on your own domain, ones thorough enough that AI judges them credible. One company deliberately ranked themselves 6th on their own best tools in their category list. That honesty is precisely what made it citation-worthy. You have to earn the citation by being a better source than the source currently replacing you. Before you can fix any of this, though, you need to see it. In Writesonic's page tracker, you can pull up exactly which URLs are being cited when AI answers branded prompts about your company, and which competitor pages are being cited instead. That's your own citation share made visible. You'll see the specific prompt where a competitor's comparison page is outranking you in AI responses, the URL that's doing it, and how often it's happening across platforms. That's the gap you're actually closing, not a mention count, a URL-level citation gap. Now here's the non-obvious part, the piece that most AI search advice skips entirely. Reddit makes up 67.8% of ChatGPT's non-cited URL pool. but Reddit gets cited at only 1.93%. ChatGPT reads Reddit extensively to understand sentiment and build consensus. Then it cites a credible institution for the actual answer. It learns from the crowd, then cites someone else. Which means if there are Reddit threads framing your product negatively and those threads are widely read, that sentiment is shaping what AI knows about you, even when Reddit never appears in the citation list. You're being influenced by a source that's invisible in your analytics. And unlike a web ranking that holds for months, over 45% of AI citations change every 2 days. This is not a set and forget channel. Pages with clean, descriptive URL slugs get cited at 89.78% versus 81.11% for opaque ones. Cited URLs are on average 458 days newer than Google organic results. But within a single retrieval set, it's the established pages that win over brand new ones. You need freshness and authority simultaneously, which means you need a publishing cadence, not a one-time content project. So here's what you actually do with all of this. 1. Audit your owned citation share for your top 10 branded prompts. Not mentions, citations. Find which competitor URLs are showing up instead of yours. 2. Build honest, structured comparison and listicle pages on your own domain, chunk structured so each section stands alone as a complete answer to a sub-question. 3. Find the Reddit threads and high-authority third-party pages currently shaping your AI narrative and either engage them or outrank them as a cited source. 4. Make sure cross-platform consistency is clean. Your G2 profile, Crunchbase, your own site, Reddit discussions, all describing your product the same way. AI treats inconsistency as a credibility signal against you. 5. Once you know which pages need to be rewritten for AI citability, use Writesonic's content agent to restructure them. Chunk layout, FAQ schema, the technical signals that make a page retrievable. And use the outreach agent to reach the Reddit threads and third-party sites currently citing your competitors instead of you. Your brand is probably already showing up in AI responses. The question is whether it's your content doing the talking. Most of your competitors are celebrating the mention. Let them.